right. The recording has started. Welcome. It's July 5th, 2022. This is SIG Windows standard meeting. We have it every Tuesday. This is a CNCF project, so we follow the CNCF guidelines. And so if you have any questions or concerns around code of conduct, please reach out to myself or Jay or anyone else in the community. So yesterday was a holiday in the US, and so I think there was kind of maybe be a little bit of a light agenda. Jay said he's going to talk a little bit about dev tools here. I don't have much for announcements. We're in coding phase of the 125 cycle, and so if anybody has any PRs they're working on or anything they need reviews, make sure you drop it into SIG Windows, Slack, and you can ping us, or make sure it's tagged as SIG Windows as well. And we will review it and triage it and also help move it along. So I think that's all I have for announcements. Does anybody else have anything else? Oh, I do have one other one. Is last week we did a demo of the perf dash, and it is now live. So we have a URL for the perf dash. Let me just find it here.
Oh, cool.
And I can drop it into the perf dash. So if I open this up here. Okay. So you can go to the perf dash here, and then up in the top left, you scroll through here and you should be able to select soak tests. And then over here, we have all the different information we're collecting. So you can see CPU usage, containers. I'm not going to go into super detail here, but I just wanted to call out that we are starting to collect it. So we'll be able to see the trends over time as far as like what services are being used the most during this test. So again, thanks to Marius for working on that last week. But check it out, and we'll see if we can get some more information added and start to get some value out of that. Kind of cool. All right, let's do new contributors. Is anybody new here that wants to say hello? Let us know what you're up to and why you joined. And see a few new folks, I think.
Hey, this is Russell Teague. I just wanted to say hi. I'm the manager for the Windows Containers team at Red Hat. So just popping in to say hi.
Oh, hey, Russell, you're, do you work with Arvind?
I do.
Cool. And is Ravi still there? I don't know.
He's not on the Windows Containers team anymore.
Oh, he's on a different team. Cool.
Yeah, still at Red Hat.
Welcome. Cool. Jay, do you want to do a little bit with the dev tools here? Unless anybody else has anything else they want to add?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So I'll just share. Let's see here. Okay, so for folks who want to spin up clusters, so I think, Mike, you were mentioning you were doing something with Ansible, or you were going to build something with Ansible earlier. Yeah. So, we have this thing, and it really needs to be Ansibleized or puppetized or salted or something, because what we do for our SIG Windows dev tools, we got a pull request. Who's this? Oh, I think we need to fix these Antria manifests. I mean, did that. So what we do right now is that you can pull this repo down and run make all, and it uses VirtualBox to create a cluster. And we don't really have anybody testing it heavily on Linux right now. And I don't think anybody's used like libvirt to do all this, but it would, like, there's a few things that, there's all these issues here that we have. And I think this is probably one of the key ones, the missing instructions for Ubuntu setup. We really need a good Ubuntu or Linux user experience around this, and we don't have that yet. The other thing we need to do is, like, because it supports multiple CNIs, so it supports Antria and it supports Calico both, and we haven't like migrated it over to like, the way we do it is we have these scripts that we put in here. And so it would be really cool if somebody who's good at Ansible or something could sort of just, and I think this is kind of a fun project because you don't really need to be like you'll learn this entire repo in the process. And it's just a matter of, I think, going into this Vagrant file and replacing this stuff with like a Vagrant Ansible plugin, right? And I think we could like pair on it, right? Like I could explain things to you as we did it. But like, basically, it's just a matter of taking these things and sort of one by one porting them over to like Ansible instructions. And I don't think there's any real strong opinions on how we do that, right? So that's kind of, so sort of to run it for the first time, you could just sort of clone it and run make all if you have VirtualBox installed, and it'll work. But I'm kind of open to like, what should we do next with this? Because it's kind of working. I still use it for my sort of day-to-day hacking around on things, but I kind of am trying to figure out, like, we could do anything from bootstrapping it with Cappy on Kind, or bootstrapping it with a Linux node in some other way, and we could go towards making all the recipes totally pluggable by just having Ansible roles for all the things in it. We could just keep it being a whole big web of shell scripts too. Like, I don't really care if, I don't have any problem with shell scripts. So, but I see there's a thread somebody started yesterday about, they had a tool called Kubernetes. Well, let me share my screen again. I guess I'll keep going. So they had this tool called Kubernetes, and they were talking about Kubernetes GitHub. And so this is some other tool. Yeah, and I was like, what's this? So then I saw this, and I don't know what people use this for either. So like, this seems to be an option. So we could possibly sort of join forces with these folks or the Kube Ansible folks. So there's all these different ways we could go. I kind of like the way ours works though, because it's really straightforward and it has all the scripts right inside of it, and it doesn't do 100 different things. So I kind of like the road we went down here, and but I just didn't want to, like, leave out other options. If we can keep the same functionality of supporting multiple CNIs and installing Kubernetes and compiling it from source, I think it will continue to work for what we care about. We probably should start supporting host process Calico also, now that James figured all that stuff out. But yeah, if folks want to pair with me on this and sort of help become a maintainer on it, or help sort of refactor it or anything, I'm down. That's kind of all I've got.
Well, it looks like Kubernetes does not support Windows worker nodes.
Yeah, I didn't really, exactly. I couldn't really figure out what was going on with the Kubernetes stuff. Like, I couldn't figure out what he did, or whether he was planning on sort of integrating that with other stuff we were doing, or proposing it, or what. So
yeah, I looked through his PR and or his blog, and it looks like there's a series of PRs into Kubernetes that added Windows support, essentially using some of the similar scripts that we use here. It looks like from the PRs, it looked like Kubernetes was using Ansible. And so there's a bunch of Ansible in there that wired up the Windows nodes and added them, and then ran similar scripts to what we do.
Yeah.
About halfway down, there was like 5 or 6 PRs linked in the
At the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom there.
All right, yeah. So then his README is just a little out of date.
Yeah, but he didn't come today, so I just wanted to pave the way in case he wanted to come and try to sell us on using it. But he's not here, so I'm not like I'm not opinionated on whether we were to use this or not. But sounds like he was maybe just sharing it with us, just as a hey, like as an FYI. So, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice. I know nothing about Kubernetes, but the things that, come to mind is being able to quickly change, specific versions, either your Linux kernel version, your Windows OS version, your Kube version, and various other versions. Like if you can actually set that really easily, that would be a nice thing just for, duplication and more.
Well, that's what we give. So that's what you get with SIG Windows Dev Tools. That's exactly what it's built for. Is that so you go in here and if you run make all, it will clone Kubernetes from source, compile it, compile the kubelet, compile kubeproxy, compile the kubelet binaries for Linux and for Windows, and then it will use those exact binaries, and then inside of the directory that you're in, you can cd to it'll literally clone Kubernetes locally, and so you could like git fetch a particular branch of Kubernetes and rerun make all, and it will redeploy everything from source. So it gives you the ability to automatically test a PR. So that's exactly what this repo does.
Okay, that's very nice.
And so that's the purpose of it, yeah. And so the other thing you get is so it allows you to switch CNIs out, right? So it allows you to switch out either Calico or Entria. And we kind of haven't added anything else since then. But I think the next step here is we have all these scripts that do that. And so the next step that I was saying is that like, it would be nice if we could refactor these scripts so that these were actual Ansible roles as opposed to like a wall of bash, right? So in other words, what I'm saying is I think all the features that folks want are there, but I think we're kind of at the point where it would be we should probably refactor it to use one of those batch installer type tools like Ansible or something. I don't think there's any other canned installer that does this, because nobody running anything in production would ever do something so crazy as compiling Kubernetes on the fly and then installing it locally, like while on VirtualBox, right? This is only specifically somebody who wants to hack around in a development environment would use this repo. So I don't think we can easily borrow any canned tools. I think we'd get to build it all from scratch.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have either an option to switch between either or, but I mean, from a development perspective, I feel like not having the build would be a nice little option, which is trivial to do with Ansible.
Yeah, I think the build, I think the thing that's the longest is the Windows node. Like that's the long tail. You can use it. There's a way to pull a Kubernetes release. I forgot what it is. But there's a way you can like pull a release in here somewhere. But the long thing is always it's just that Windows node takes forever to come up. But yeah. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at. So if anybody wants to help out, let me know. Kind of open to different ways to improve it.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Mike, were you trying to do anything specific, or like what was your use case here?
I wanted to be able to just quickly spin up a kube cluster and be able easily set like specific versions from one file. So if I had a user that was running an on-prem version of Kubernetes to set like 1.2.2, a container D version, a specific CNI version, and various other like hot fixes and more, just to be able to reproduce an environment. That was what I was trying to do.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're almost there with that. I know, like, I've spun that up to do something similar in the past. I had to kind of hack the make file to not rebuild Kubernetes, but there was a flag in there to not do that. So probably just needs a little love and could maybe potentially do what you need. So
yeah. So yeah, it just sounds like it needs a little bit of energy behind it to add these features.
Yeah, let me see if I can, if we go in here, we can do like, so a meme did a thing where he actually did a bunch of stuff with making it so you could use image builder to do it through an OVA route. But the container D installer uses the PowerShell one. But what we did in here is we forked all the scripts. So you could literally go directly to, where is it? Where do we get the, oh no, we don't. Oh wait, we didn't fork the prepare node.ps1. But our general pattern that we've been following in this repo for that is that, because the existing SIG Windows installation directions generally like kind of pull stuff down from the SIG Windows tools repo. And so because of that, in order to sort of customize them, you kind of have to customize those scripts and stuff. So what we did is we're like, all right, we're going to just slurp all of those scripts into this one place, so that if somebody wants to change the way Calico is installed, or change the way Antria is installed, or, change the way that, anything is set up, they can just sort of edit the scripts and will locally sort of use the local scripts in that way. So, but it looks like we haven't done that for prepare node. So we still seem to be downloading prepare node from the internet. So we probably should have, copy paste that into our little sort of group of hacky forked scripts. We also probably could do some kind of an overrides thing, like to be smarter about it, so that, we were more declarative there. So this is where you actually, so that option you were talking about, Mike, actually already exists, this build from source. So you could just turn that to false or true, and you'll get the thing you just wanted that you mentioned. So, and then here's the version. So I think these are the two options that you mentioned, right? You want to not, in your situation, you would basically do this. You said 122, so you'd probably just put 122 here. And it'll just pull it down, I guess. Yep.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize I was muted. That didn't help.
Okay.
Thanks for showing me this. I was responding with my mic off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wanted to bring up or discuss?
I don't have any KPNG
If
updates,
not,
but I'll ping Dimitri about those, because he's got the latest code for that. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Cool. All right, we'll give everybody 5 minutes back then. Thanks for coming. Talk to you next week.
Bye, everybody.